So today let's repot this little echeveria here that I have purchased from the nursery. As you can see, it's in a very small pot and she is in desperate need of repotting. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to gently take this succulent out of the pot here. I usually try to go from the bottom like this. Let's just squeeze it a little bit. Oh, actually, it came out right away. Oh, there's a name tag. It says Echeveria X Hybrida. And here it is. Look at all those roots that it has grown because it's looking for water and it needs a bigger pot. So what I'm doing over here is I'm making sure to check the stem if it's completely healthy and that there is no mushiness or any signs of rot while repotting. So I wasn't able to repot this right away. This is probably going into the third week or second week now since I bought it, and I just want to make sure that the succulent is completely healthy. If you guys buy new succulents, please, if you have the time, don't wait as long as I did, because you want to check the health of the stem of your succulents and its roots right away. I probably watered this once since I got it because the leaves, it was starting to drink from the leaves like that. It started slowly drying off from the edge of the leaf. It means that the plant is now in search for water and it's using its water reserves. So we'll gently try to massage the soil off here. We can't really avoid damaging some of those roots. It's normal, but what's important is we get all that old soil off and loosen the root ball. I just keep kind of running my thumb in there, massaging, gently massaging the soil off. It's kind of pretty tightly, it's pretty tightly in there. You can see all those roots, and it's really got a good hold of the soil. This is a good indication that it really already does need new soil. It's really tight. So we're really just trying to get as much roots off, as much soil off as possible here, and it's really gotten a hold of that soil. I actually might have to rinse this plant because I don't want any of that old soil on there. I want it in completely new and very well draining soil. And I want to loosen as much as those roots up as possible. So we have some water here to rinse off the soil. This part is completely optional. You don't have to do this, but I really want to get as much of that old soil off those roots as possible. So I am going to rinse it in some water. So because I've completely loosened, I've loosened the roots as much as I can and taken off as much of the old soil that I could off those roots. It's a little bit easier to get the leftover soil on those roots off in water over here. Like I said, this step is completely optional. I'm being very gentle on the roots, guys. I'm simply just kind of running my fingers through it because I want to try to not damage the roots. I'm pretty sure they are getting a little damaged here and there, but try to be as gentle as possible. So I got some more clean water, and now that I've got most of the old soil off, I'm going to rinse off as much as I can some more. So just put it back in the water and continue with the rinsing, because I really want to get as much of the old soil off as possible. When you're doing this, you want to make sure that afterwards you air dry these roots, because they have gone through a lot of stress for at least 1 day. I would probably air dry this for about a day or about a day or two. It should be okay before planting it in very dry, well draining soil again. And then I will not water it for at least a week after that. So there you go. I think I got as much dirt off as I possibly could, and it's very clean now. Again, this part is optional. You do not have to do this. You can simply just remove as much old soil off your succulent as you can, and then just plant it in very dry, well draining soil. But I do this for some of my succulents, especially the ones that were root bound. And you know, as you can tell, it's not a very delicate succulent. It's really strong, and it's pretty hardy, so it can handle the stress. At least I can make sure that I'll get rid of whatever bugs or eggs that may have been laid in that soil. I am very paranoid when it comes to my soil mix, so I try to clean off as much of the old soil as I possibly can. Okay, so it's been 24 hours. The roots have now completely dried, and this echeveria is now ready to be planted into completely dry, very well fresh, well draining soil. So I'm just digging the soil a little here so we can get our roots in there. And then if you put too much soil in, like me, I think I did, I'm just trying to place it in there to see if that's enough to cover the roots. But I think I do need to get it a little bit deeper in there. So I took some of the soil out, and I will place the roots on top of the soil, and then we just add more as needed. See that? Now I can just add soil in there up to the top, but I think I'm still going to dig it a little bit. So let's just dig a little bit. Let's dig it in there a little bit more. There you go. That's about enough. Let's just get the soil, whatever soil is in there, over the roots like that. Make sure your plant is centered all the way, and I think it is. So now we simply add soil. Just adding some soil here. Make sure to bury those roots. So just keep adding more soil until you're happy with how much soil you have added to your pot. And I think I'm happy now. And then just pat the soil down so the succulent could sit up. Now, after being repotted like this, guys, you want to keep this in a very bright shaded area, and make sure that it does not get direct sunlight for at least a week while it tries to recover from the stress that it has just been through from repotting. So after you water it for the first time in about 4 to 7 days, it's safe to give it morning sun the next day. But just start with 2 hours so that it doesn't, so it can prevent the leaves from getting sunburned. And then what you do after that is you want to gradually introduce it to sunlight. So start with 2 hours of morning sun, and then every 3 days or so you can add another 2 hours of sun exposure. And then if it's really hot in the afternoon, you can provide filtered sunlight, but you just want to keep adding about 2 hours of sun every 2 to 3 days until it completely gets used to it. This will help prevent it from getting sunburned. Yeah, those are my care tips for repotting new succulents. I hope this video helped you somehow. So this is Christine from these Succulent Buddies. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you.